All right, hockey fans, as you know, Power Rankings Week is a huge week. And with it, I don't have time for three things. We don't have time to talk, to get into a diatribe. We got to get into hockey. We got to get right into it. The Elite, the Premier. And it has been a humongous week. And with that, it's been a humongous month. And with that, it's been a lot of hockey time going on around the country. And there's only one man I argue these rankings with each and every month. It's only one man who gets his way from time to time with Dan K, and it is that right-hand man, the accoutrement to the charcuterie board of a host that is Dan K. It is the maraschino atop the banana split. It is Lucas Jones. What's going on, Lucas?
Dan, I'm excited. We had a lot of back and forth this week. We really got into it a couple of times. Sometimes we do these power rankings, Dan will have a couple where he wins. Sometimes, I'll get a couple of spots where I win. And, every once in a while, especially in the Premier, we look more like Roy Jones Jr. fighting Mike Tyson. Two old men who are far too sweaty and far too old, locking their way to a draw, and nobody gets a victory.
Yeah, I'm not even old, and I'm slowed down and sweaty just like Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. I can tell you that much. But I'll tell you what a heavyweight month in the Elite, and that's where we start. The USPHL Elite Power Rankings presented by Elite Junior Profiles. I mean, Lucas, first of all, we went a billion different ways. This kind of was the Lucas Jones month here in both the Elite and Premier. I feel like you kind of won me over on a lot of these arguments, but we start at number 10 with the first argument won by Dan K this go around. The Atlanta Mad Hatters, for the first time this year, make that faithful jump into the top 10 at number 10.
The Mad Hatters are such a good team. I mean, we watched them last year. We really enjoyed them. And this is one of those occasions that I love where you make a pick with your heart and you pick the Mad Hatters, and then your brain says, actually, that's a really good choice because the Mad Hatters have had 3 close games with one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Elite, the Tampa Bay Juniors, 2-1 versus the Eels. This is a team that is trending not only in the right direction, but they are moving in the right direction right now. I like the way they play. It's hard-nosed hockey. They never give up. They'll go play any team in the nation, and they'll do it well.
Santa Maria, Lucas. In the words of Matty V, Matt Vasgersian, Santa Maria has been splendid. That's case Santa Maria. And the case with this centerman is that he's good. 9 points on the year, 3 goals, 6 assists. He's got a power play goal. He's just a Euro 2. The youth movement down in Atlanta's Elite right now is humongous. You got a bunch of 03s, a couple 04s, a bunch of 02s. Dawson Hendrick, man, this guy... Do-do-do-do-do. The old Dawson's Creek theme song. None of these kids know what Dawson's Creek is, all right? James Vanderbeek, I don't want your laugh, okay? But I do want Dawson Hendrick's life right now because this guy is absolutely motoring through the Florida Division. 5 goals, 3 assists. They get goalkeeping too, Lucas, when they need it. They're a physical team. Atlanta's always synonymous with physicality. And Nolan Lacroix has been look great in net when needed with a shutout this year.
Bottom line on the Mad Hatters, Dan, they have the second best defense in the Florida Elite Division, 45 goals allowed in 14 games. They're averaging 3 goals a game every game. They're giving up just a hair over 3 goals a game. This is a great hockey team, a disciplined hockey team. I'm excited to see what the next couple months bring.
2-1 against the Eels in November, 3 real close battles with Tampa where they had to lead in all 3 at some point. They had that loss to the Blades. They sit in at number 10. Number 9, we're not going to make any friends with this one. It's the Hampton Roads Whalers coming in at number 9.
Well, Hampton Roads has had a bit of a difficult month, and that happens on the occasion. 3-3 in November. Good wins against Potomac, losses against the Junior Canes, another great team in the Elite. Hampton Roads, I think, has struggled to find some consistency this year. The number 9 spot, like you said, might upset them just a bit, but I think the numbers sort of show a team that does need to find some consistency. They need to find a couple of streaks and kind of right the ship here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the normal names that you're looking for to really make those big moves for them. Joe Shower, Kyle Ball, EJ Ferris, Nate McNamara at the top of the points list there with 18 for him. Evan Miles, who goes the extra miles. And in net, it's been the Ty Morton show all season long. And with that, when you stand on the back of one netminder, it's a lot to carry on your shoulders if you're Ty Morton. There's a lot of pressure on you day in and day out to get that W, to get the George, the W. And, you know, it's a tough thing to do. Shane Ziegler, Patrick Connolly, Cooper Hunt, Austin Gibson, Tyler Deanna. The names are there. You look at the name quality. These are all guys who are next level talents. Now you need to put it together. It's got to come to fruition, and it's got to happen in the month of December.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's one of those things where you have to take ownership of the schedule. You have to take ownership of this next month, and you really have to go out there and prove why you're unhappy with being at number 9. Get out there, win some hockey games.
Now, here's a team that started the year getting out there and winning what seemed like every hockey game. But, I mean, the Dan K bump going in the wrong direction here, Lucas. The Dan K bump bumping the Charlotte Rush down to number 8, the number 8 spot in the power rankings, the lowest this Rush side has been in the Elite in the past 2 seasons. Still incredible to be in the top 10 at any point. But number 8, I'm going to tell you, the folks in Charlotte not going to be happy with that spot.
Yeah, the Charlotte Rush team, they've had some good moments, they've had some rough moments. 3-2 in the month of November, 2 losses to this Generals elite squad, which we know is elite, but those losses still pop up. And it's a situation where, and folks know this, we have to get into the battle of the season versus the what have you done for me lately. And in the month of November, Charlotte has struggled, but we do make the acknowledgement that they have had a tough schedule.
I still don't think they've struggled that much, right? Like the big thing that you got to point out is right now, framework, landscape, you're playing the teams in your division a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And we know how good this Southeast division is. They beat up on each other, man. Both on the ice, they play a physical style. It's grating. It's grinded out hockey. There's talent on the ice, but there's also some strength, some physicality, some big bodies. And losing 2 to the Generals, they took one from this Generals team.
Yep.
This is a Generals team that until last month had been number 1 in the elite power rankings. It seemed like forever, just for eternity. It just seemed like they were the eternal number 1s of the USPHL's elite power rankings of the Dan K Show. And 7-5-1-0, 15 points. Mm-hmm. They sit in 4th place points-wise. But again, I can't wait to see what they do as they get outside the division a little bit, right? You saw what they did against the Colonials with 2 wins against them, against Charleston. There's some teams in that Southeast region they'll get a chance to get access to and play against. It's going to be exciting to see where Charlotte goes. I've been on the Rush train, all aboard it, Elite and Premier, and I'm going to continue to ride the Rush train, man. And I'm rushing to number 7 here, all right? I'm rushing to it. I'm dressing up for this. Get it? Russian dressing. It's nice. Rockets Hockey Club, number 7. This is a team, they only had one opponent in the month, the Jersey Shore Whalers, and they took care of business. 3-1. They only dropped 1 to them. Tough Jersey Shore organization there. And the Rockets Hockey Club sit at number 7.
Yeah, I think this Rockets Hockey Club team, I mean, we know they're good. We've watched them a bunch. We've watched them, as much as we can on hockey TV. I think they're a good team. They certainly have the offensive side of things figured out. The defensive side as well is always good. Right now, they're over that 2-to-1 ratio for their goals for, goals against. They do well in overtime. They do well in the shootout. Next month, they're going to have an interesting test. More games against the Whalers, but also the Aviators they're going to have to play. So I think December is another one of those months where if the Rockets Hockey Club wants to move up in these standings, they have to go out there. They have to get some statement wins. There has to be no doubt about the skill level on this team in December.
And the big breakdown I got to do here is golf rounds by Coach Todd Wagenbach compared to invites to the Dan K Show, which sits just minutes away from some of the courses he attended. This past Thanksgiving weekend, all over the Instagram sphere saying, yeah, he got 3 rounds in this weekend. A combined 1 hour in driving distance from Dan K Show host Dan K.
Amazing.
A little bit over an hour and a half from Lucas. And 0 invites right now. That brings the total golf rounds publicly promoted on Todd Wagenbach's Instagram, seen by Dan K, to 9. Mm-hmm. Invites still sit at 0. So that's 0-9, which I'm not going to – it definitely didn't bring him down to top 10, but it internally, it's starting to hurt.
Just, to be so close to the Dan K show, and let it be known, we have driven 18 hours in one direction for golf. So there's really no distance we won't drive for golf. But we need to know the where, the when, and the who.
That's it. And I mean, at 18 hours in one direction, 18 hours while listening to One Direction. Big Harry Styles fans here on the Dan K show. And I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I've also seen a few barbecues. I haven't been keeping as much tabs on that. But 0 invites for the Dan K show. We hope Coach Wags is having fun out there. He seems like he's having a great time, a wonderful time. But Jason Lastra, Marco Taffo, Darren Michaels, Matthew Emmer, Anthony Capriotti, Daniel Seaman, Max Toomey, Brody Burmeister. There's just so much talent right now sitting on this squad. You look at Anthony Triano, the right winger for this side, a newcomer this year, down the list at that right wing position. They just breed talent, man. The Rockets Hockey Club, what a year they're having. The NCDC, the Premier, the Elite, just no problems anywhere. And the big thing at the Elite level this year is Nate Jogelkar and Aiden Schaefer. They're getting net minding. That was always a place where they got the net minding when they weren't getting the goals. When they had Joe Hughes in there at this Elite level, and he was dominating in shutout losses. And then they would get the goal scoring and they wouldn't get the net minding. They're getting net minding at every level of the game. Every level of the game right now. And right now at this Elite level, Schaefer and Jogelkar are doing great.
Yeah, I think there's really only one way to go for this Rockets Hockey Club team, and that's up. But that's, again, if they can get some of those statement victories.
100%. We go to number 6, and it's a team that makes a statement every time they take the ice. The Islanders Hockey Club at number 6 in the Elite. 11-2-1 here, Lucas. 23 points for them. 5-2 in the month of November, +7 in the goal differential category. And this has been a North Division that's been all over the place, the Norris. The Boston Junior Bruins, they got to win against. They get the Bandits. They beat the Picks twice. Then they lose to the Bruins in OT and lose to a tough Cyclone side. Everybody beating up on everybody. The North is trying to mimic the Southeast right now.
Yeah, 5-2 in November, and you're looking at the Islanders Hockey Club in 6th place, and it's kind of a tale of two teams because you're able to get some split series, you're able to get some dominant wins. I think the one thing that concerns me looking at this IHC team is the pure amount of shots that they're having to have their goalies stop. This is a team that's facing, on average, about 32 to 35 shots per game, and at the Elite level, it tends to be a little bit more wide open because you have players who are just absolutely skilled, taking shots from everywhere, trying to get stuff on net. But that's a tough situation to put a lot of goalies in, especially as you start to move towards nationals. Those shots, for some reason, Dan, start to turn into goals as we get later into the hockey season. But aside from that, this team's just been phenomenal. No
such thing as a bad shot on net. You look at Mike Varvaris there, a name that we know very well. 5-0 in net, a 9.30 saves percentage. He's backed up by Austin Gilbert. The rookie's got a 3-1-1 record with a 9.18 saves percentage. They're saving shots, man. They're stopping shots. They're putting their team in a position to compete day in and day out. And you go to the skater side of things, and you got Lane Brubaker-Egner, man, seven goals, 4 assists. Jackson Hansen, that's a great name. 2 goals, 9 assists for the left winger. Jacob Moore, Jason Melanson. They're getting points from all over, which is something IHC's done for years from all levels. And they're also one of the older teams in the Elite. So this is a team with a little more age to them, a little more aged players with some time behind them, an understanding of the game. So watch out come playoff time. That age tends to factor in. As the younger teams, we always say they grow as the year goes on. Sometimes in those big moments, those pressure situations, it pays off to have some of that age. We've seen it with the Cyclones in past years at times too, with guys like Matty Irwin at this Elite level.
Yeah, it's a good mix. I think it's encouraging what they're doing. I think obviously in first place in the division, so that speaks for itself. So I think this IHC team is, again, it's the same thing as the Rockets Hockey Club, it feels like. It's a team that you get a couple of statement victories under your belt. They'll have great opportunities in December to do that. So we'll definitely be revisiting this squad next month.
Next up is a team sitting at number 5 because I'd say the report card is still inconclusive. We've only got 5 games. Obviously, it's 2020, right? This is 2020. And you got teams that are getting in a ton of games in bunches. You got teams that are off and on. And it's all about keeping people safe. So in this situation, the Cyclones, though, get the big time pump up points here for the way they've dealt with adversity. 4-1 on the year. They get the number 5 spot, the Northern Cyclones. And again, we talk about the names we know well. Mark Giordano. You talk about Cameron Chan, Nick Super, TJ Vitulo. You look at Kanan Stevenson, 2 goals, 4 assists for this side, leading the team in points. This Cyclones team is even more balanced than they've been in past years. They've always been scoring centric. They've always been able to put the puck in the back of the net. But there just seems to be a great balance when it comes to the Cyclones so far this year.
Yeah, I really like what they're putting out on paper. They have a huge win against IHC. They won that game 7-0. So that's when you have less data points, you treat each data point with a little more weight. I also love, some of the guys in this team that you mentioned. Another guy is Yadon Del Tufo. And please let us know if I pronounce that first
That's
name.
definitely Jaden.
You never know. I'm always willing to go a little too far and then work it back.
I like Yadon.
That's where I'm always willing to go. I apologize if it ends up being an accidental new nickname, but we press on because I do want to talk about, I love a centerman that has a mysterious first name and gets assists. Yep. That's what I love in a centerman. 4 assists, no goals, 5 games, 4 assists on the last 3 games against good opponents, 1 assist in that IHC game. I just think that the way this team is structured really lends itself well to assists centermen who kind of spin the wheel and get other guys the puck. So we'll be watching Mr. Del Tufo as we continue to move forward.
Yeah, seriously, man. And this Cyclones team, there's a lot more ahead for them. There's a lot more games to be played. So they have a lot more statements to make. I would easily have put them in the top 5 with more games under their belt. They sit within the top 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They sit at number 5 right now, waiting to make that move. Number 4, the Carolina Junior Hurricanes. What a year for the Junior Hurricanes organization. They can do no wrong right now when it comes to hockey playing. They are winning games at both levels. They are really succeeding down in this tough Southeast division. They have made their presence felt. 11-4-0, 22 points, 5-2 overall in the month of November, and the only 2 losses to the Richmond Generals. It seems like there's a theme there with this Richmond Generals side beating good teams.
Yeah, you can't really fault anyone for losses against the Generals because the Generals are a powerhouse in the elite and have been for a couple of years. But the Carolina Junior Canes continuing this winning tradition that they've established last season coming into this year as well. The offense is there, 69 goals for. The defense is there, under 40 goals allowed. This is a good team that's winning in overtime. They're winning in shootouts. They're doing it all over the ice. I just think this is a really good organization, too. We saw a lot of free-form movement last season. You're seeing it again this year. The 2 teams really operate as one larger family, and that's, I think, something that is both fun to watch on the ice and off the ice.
Yeah, and you look at Chase Williams, man. This guy's an early favorite, or one of the early favorites for Player of the Year in the Elite. This guy, 10 goals, 15 assists. I mean, you start looking at Richmond and Tampa as the only 2 places with names that can be involved in that we'll talk about soon in this top 10. But Chase Williams has a say in that Player of the Year talk right now. 5 power play goals, 6 power play assists, 1 shorthanded goal, 1 shorthanded assist. He's got 4 game winners on the year. He's a year 03 with a ginormous future. Watch Chase Williams play hockey. Turn on hockey TV. Watch this young man play hockey because you are missing out. He is talented. He is talent personified. Big future ahead for him. You look at Luke Havener, you look at Ethan Chapman, Steven Mashenko, Luke Norman. There's just the big thing, Nolan Tabraham, Ryan Freeman. You look at this team, you look at this organization, it's that successful mantra that these Southeast teams all keep picking up from each other. It reminds me of like the AL East in Major League Baseball, where it's the idea of the Yankees, obviously the best, you're welcome, everybody. But no, and you see the Red Sox, all of a sudden they start building in the Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays and the Orioles, and the teams have to find their own way to repeat that same success and output that same success. And they can't always all do it the same way. And the Southeast, everyone's looking at that playbook set by Hampton Roads and Charlotte, and they're gradually building the same thing. You go down to the Florida division, just see it with the Charleston Colonials and Mad Hatters as well. It's awesome to watch. It's great to see the growth down in this division, and it's just so good. It is such a good division, the Southeast and the Premier and Elite, and it comes down to great ownerships from all these squads.
Yeah, 110%. They've really the Southeast The Junior Canes, the Southeast, that whole region has really, really shown the nation what hockey means in the South and the Southeast. They've shown that they are competitive, and not only competitive, but they'll go out and beat you. They'll travel to anywhere where you think hockey should be in this country, and they'll beat you on your own ice. And then they get to come back to Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia.
Yep. Yeah, exactly right. And I'll tell you, a team that's willing to beat anybody anywhere this year as well ranks at number 3. How about this? Going from never before in the Elite, being in the top 10 of the power rankings, to making their first jump in last week, and now sitting at number 3, the Boston Junior Bruins. Why, hello, sir. 9-2-3-0, 21 points, 5-1 in November, 51 goals, 435 against. They got the OTW. They lost only once, and it doesn't count. The game gets erased because it was in a shootout to the Islanders Hockey Club. So it's basically a win, Lucas.
Absolutely right, Dan. And that's exactly why they're in this number 3 spot. Well, partially at least. They've not only had that good November, it's continuing the traditions. They've never faltered. They haven't faltered from their October. They haven't faltered since the start of the season. They have continued on this trajectory. They do it with great defense. They do it with good offense. And they're a disciplined squad, under 100 penalty minutes taken. They can beat the tough teams in their division. I think this is a Junior Bruins squad which has just really come out and impressed in all aspects of the game. You watch them play, and they look talented beyond their years, is how I describe this team. It's a heady team. It's an intelligent team. They know how to work the angles, work the corners, work the middle of the ice. It's just such a fun squad to watch, especially in this elite division.
Yeah, and you look at the balance on this roster. I mean, they've had guys moving up in the organization, moving all over the place. I mean, they've got 30 guys who have tallied a point for them this year. And it just goes to show it's what we talk about in the nicest way possible. The hockey factory, right? These guys, like this organization, from the Masters through Mike Anderson, through the whole group, through Nevin, through everybody in this organization, they know the game of hockey so well. They're so great at not just understanding how to win hockey games, because that's not the most important thing at this level. They understand how to create the next group of hockey players, the next group of people. They do a great job with that EQ on top of that hockey IQ. And they know the emotional quality. They know how to get these guys ready for the next level. Ian Moore here, right winger, with 2 goals, 7 assists. Michael Bichette there. Charles Chinian, who's 6 goals, 4 assists for the year. Got him at 10 points, leading the team in that category. The Junior Bruins, man, they are not to be messed with. And how about Jake the Snake Romney? This guy's got a 1.49 goals against average, a 9.58 saves percentage, and he's a gosh darn brick wall when you put him in the crease. Pucks don't get by this guy. This guy stops everything that moves.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that goaltending, and it's certainly a boost to this Junior Bruins team, and they're going to need all the help they can get as we continue to move through some of these showcase months into nationals.
We're going to need all the help we can get after this next announcement, number 2. Because if you're this team, you look at who you've beaten this month. You look at number 4, you say, hey, we beat them twice. You look at number 8, you say, hey, we beat them twice. You look at number 9, you say, hey, we've gotten them before in past months. And you look at yourself and you go, I mean, of course I'm number 1. But you're not. You're number 2 this month. Get the bulletin board ready, RC Light. Get the bulletin board ready, folks out there in Richmond, because we are ready to get booed by you. Richmond Generals, number 2 in the Elite.
Yeah, I mean, you can chalk it up to whatever you like, Dan, but I think at this point that we're not saying that the Generals are a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. The best team in the South, in a very tough division in the Southeast, one of the best teams consistently year in, year out in that elite division. They give everyone fits. If you go down by 2 goals, you can almost already chalk it up with the way that they're able to play defense and knock stuff down. They've got centermen who can pass the puck. They've got defensemen who can score. They've really got it all. I think the one thing that I really like about this Generals team is how personally they take the game of hockey, where they'll find something about a team that they maybe don't like and throw it up on the board and say, we're going out there because of X, Y, and Z. And they go out there and they win. They just win. every week, every month, almost every game. And I think that almost every game is a little bit of foreshadowing for our number one when we get there.
And I remind everybody, we're going to be announcing it again at the end, but the Holiday Follow Challenge is coming up. And Lucas, I picture us with the Richmond Generals for the third consecutive year winning the Holiday Follow Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And us walking in to Skate Nation Plus with like the Hamilton track in the back of my mind of Here Comes the Generals. And us being outgunned and outmanned as we walk into the rink, because we are going to be booed heavily if they are not at number one by the time we get out there. We love the folks in Richmond. But right now, if you are a hockey fan anywhere in the country, of any team, any level, I don't care where you play. I don't care who you play. I don't care what world you're in. 15-0 is a statement. It is an accomplishment. It is unreal. It is asinine, ass-10, ass-11, as Stephen A. Smith would say. It is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tampa Bay Juniors sit atop the world, atop the USPHL Elite. The first time in Tampa Bay Junior history they slot up at number one in the Dan K Show Power Rankings, baby. TBJ.
Absolutely. I finally, right? I mean, I've loved this Tampa Bay Junior team. I'm always an advocate for them. Not like they need it because they're their own advocate, but I love watching them play the game of hockey. They've really impressed. It's one of those things where I said they've won. The Richmond Generals have won almost all their games. Well, 15 games into a season, you imagine you'd have to lose one game. And it's not like Tampa Bay is winning all these games in blowouts. They're winning games in overtime, in shootouts. They're winning close games. They're winning the blowout games. They're doing it well. They're not taking a ton of penalties. Their defense is the best defense in the Florida division. Their offense is the best offense in the Florida division. They've got guys all up and down this roster who are top scorers. Ryan Bahula, Adam Custable, Jack Fleer. These are top scorers. They've got so many rookies. And this is a young team, a skilled team. And Dan, this Tampa Bay Junior team, they're going to have to prove their worth in this power ranking because they have one heck of a December coming up. Not just games against the Florida Eels and the Charleston Colonials, but 4 games, their last 4 games of December, Carolina Junior Canes, Potomac Patriots, Charlotte Rush, Hampton Roads Whalers. That's unfair. So we're going to get a real test to see if they're the real number one team this month.
It's not unfair. I mean, you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.
That's
when you
true.
want to be number one, there's a target on your back. You know what I mean? And you want to play the best. It's what we talked about with Coach Kirk Costas last year when he was coaching his premier side with IHC. Mm-hmm. And they were 21-0. I mean, eventually, yeah, it's great to keep winning. You want to keep winning. But playoff time, games are always close. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Games are always, always, always close. Goaltenders get on. Games are more physical. The ice slows down on you. Things get a little bit more puck luck filled, right? And you got to be able to deal with the punches. And you have to return a heavyweight knockout the same way you receive one. You know what I mean? You don't want to be Nate Robinson out here talking up a big game. And then when you finally get in a ring, you get knocked out. You want to really be able to stand up tall with the best of the best. And the only way to be the best is to play the best and beat the best. They're going to get that chance. When they have goaltending like Evan Spinella and Ethan Lee between the net, the two of them combined to be undefeated, haven't lost a game yet. 2.68 goals against for Lee, 2.10 for Spinella. They played a split down the middle bunch of games here. They've each played 7 between the pipes. You don't get better than that. They're confident in net. They stop the puck. And Ryan Bahula might be the best player on the planet. We talked about the player of the year. I mean, he's the player of the year right now if you stop the season right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think the biggest thing is this Tampa Bay Juniors team, they strike me as a team that if you had to play a whole bunch of games back to back, they could do it, right? They could play 2 games in a day for 4 days and then take a day off and then come back and play 2 games a day for 4 more days. They've got the conditioning. They've got 2 goaltenders they can rely on, and every single person on that team is a threat.
Yeah, man. It doesn't matter what scenario you put them in what part of anywhere, they can compete in that style of format of play for sure. And in any format of play right now, there's your top 10 folks in the Elite. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your feelings, and let us know if you disagree. Lucas, I accidentally closed out of the list on my computer. So if you could read that last top 10 one more time and kick us to the break, it'd be wonderful.
So at 10, we've got the Atlanta Mad Hatters. At number 9, the Hampton Roads Whalers. At number 8, the Charlotte Rush. Number 7, Rockets Hockey Club. At number 6, the Islanders Hockey Club. Number 5, those Northern Cyclones that just keep showing up. At number 4, the Carolina Junior Canes. Number 3, the Boston Junior Bruins, continuing their streak from last month. Number 2, the Richmond Generals, always salty, always feisty. And then those number 1, unbeaten Tampa Bay Juniors.
Head to EliteJRProfiles.com to find the best way to give your student athlete the tools and connections needed to reach their highest goals in both sports and academics.
Welcome back, hockey fans. The Dan K Show's Power Rankings episode continues here, presented by the great people at Elite Junior Profiles. You want to be seen by the great coaches, scouts, and everyone at the next level out there? Join up with Elite Junior Profiles. That's EliteJRProfiles.com. Go check it out. Sign up. You can tell them we sent you, or you can just sign up, because guess what? What we're here for is getting you to the next level, and those folks are doing it in spades each and every day. We had a great talk before we get into this Premier Power Rankings. We had a great talk with the newly minted head coach of the launching Rivier University hockey team here, Division III hockey, NCAA D3 hockey, coming to Rivier University. Coach Eric Sorensen joined us on the podcast this week, so make sure to head over to wherever you get your podcasts and check that one out. Some great information on a newly launching program for you premier players, you elite players out there. Make sure to reach out to Coach Sorensen. Make sure you get yourself on that radar. And with that, we got to get into the Premier Power Rankings now, Lucas. And we had 27 teams we could have put into this top 10. But again, we don't have all night, although I do love to speak.
Yeah, we don't have 27 spots available. We don't have 3 hours to talk about 27 hockey teams. But, you know, if you want us to talk about 27 hockey teams, I suppose we could do that at a later time. But no one really wants a 4-hour Power Rankings episode.
Trending up in the right direction right now. I do want to mention the Elmira Junior Enforcers. I love the way that team looked out there. They just missed the top 10. The Chicago Cougars, always a tough side in the Midwest East, trending in the right direction. Philadelphia Hockey Club right on the outside looking in. A lot of big names. And even those Hudson Havoc, those pesky Hudson Havoc, always involved. All teams on the come up, on the rise, making their way ever closer. But Lucas, we start at number 10 with 2 newcomers, 2 teams that have never before made it to the Dan K Show's Premier Power Rankings top 10. One, because they're new to the USPHL this year, the Utah Outliers, who are no longer outliers in the top 10. And Lucas, our favorites, the Metro Jets Development Program, MJDP, make the cut. The tie for top 10 spot there.
Yeah, we couldn't figure it out. So we said, you know what? Let's just throw them both in there, because both of those teams absolutely deserve a spot. MJDP has had massive wins in the month of November. Pittsburgh Vengeance, Worcester, Fort Wayne Spacemen, Columbus. They've only lost to the Metro Jets. The Metro Jets, obviously a powerhouse as well in the Premier. And then the Outliers. The Outliers are just a really good team. We love watching them. We love watching the way they play the game. You know, they're doing it right out there. They've got the stats to back it up. And I think this is one of those, you know, my guy can beat up your guy scenarios, because I just want to see these 2 teams play now to settle this on the ice.
Mark my words, ladies and gentlemen. Both of these teams, heard it here today, win their divisions. The MJDP win the Midwest East, and I think the Utah Outliers are going to win the Mountain Division. This Pueblo team is tough. This Northern Colorado Eagles team is so difficult to deal with, but there's something about this team that's won 5 in a row. 3 of those wins coming over the Pueblo Bulls. Mm-hmm. I just have a vibe. I vibed with this team. I think they're my favorite unis right now in the game. This look that they got going on out there in the Utah Outlier land. And I love this Utah Outliers team. On the MJDP side, man, these kids are hungry. These kids battle week in and week out, day in and day out. And the MetroJets program as a whole is just top notch. It's top quality. They do it right from top up to top down, whatever the heck that saying is that I just messed up. I went and made up my own, Lucas, because why not? Why not make up your own? But you look at this MJDP team, they beat who's on the schedule. They beat who's in front of them and leading the way for them. And you got Tim Washburn, Joseph Mosnick there, and Patrick Hayes. 8 goals and 10 assists for Patty Hayes. And Patrick Hayes, man, this guy is Hayes to look at. He is so fast, so skilled, so talented. Watch out for him, Nick Twombly, and the whole group. Jake Keslanian, MJDP is coming at you this year.
Yeah, I think these are going to be two teams that are going to be fun to watch in the month of December. They both have some tough schedules coming up. But, again, this 10th spot has just been so hard to figure out because there's so many teams that have played well and that deserve to be there.
Daniel McCavish in net, Lucas for MJDP, 6-0-1-0, a 1.78 goals against average, a 938 saves percentage. You want to talk about talent. You want to talk about lights out. That is lights out goaltending. And the Utah Outliers giving every single team out there trouble. Watch out for Rustam Kulizade with the 0.894 and the 271. He's undefeated on the year in regulation. We go to number 9. Lucas. And, there's a lot of places we could have gone here at this number 9 spot. Team dropping back just because of really low game count. Just not many games in the month of November, and that was scheduled that way. They had a ton of games early in the year, and they had a light load here in November because of how many games they fit into September and October. Mm-hmm. The Toledo Cherokee sit at number 9.
Yeah, and the Toledo, phenomenal team. Tied for second place in the division right now, but 3 less games than the Pittsburgh Vengeance, the team they're tied with. Great offense. They've got that 82 goals for, 42 goals against, a 40-goal differential, 8-2 in their last 10. Nothing really wrong with any of those stats, Dan, except for what you pointed out, is they've just had a light month. And in the division as deep as the Premier, with 27 teams in the running, unfortunately, a light schedule means not a ton of data to pull from. So this guy is sitting down here at 9, but much like the Metro Jets were a little bit lower in the power rankings earlier in the season, I don't think that this team is going to stay at number 9 for long.
No chance. And how about a team that sits at number 8 that has an opportunity this month with a tough non-conference schedule to really move their way up the list? And it's the Northern Colorado Eagles. 2 different teams from the Mountain make the top 10. Neither of them the Pueblo Bulls, who could have an argument over both of these teams at times this year. They've beaten both of these teams at some point. What a division the Mountain's been. We love this new addition to the USPHL. Great hockey, great competition. The Northern Colorado Eagles take the 8th spot.
Yeah, this is a good team. They've had a good month of November as well. The Eagles are, I think, are a really good team because of just, frankly, the way they win these games, right? They win tough games. They do it in a really physical way. They're not trying to blow you out either. They're very, very comfortable winning close games, and they're going to need to be comfortable with close games, Dan, because they've got 10 games in December. They're playing teams like the River Kings, the Ducks. They've got their familiar rivals in the Bulls, but then they go play Pittsburgh Vengeance, Minnesota Moose, Hudson Havoc, Metro Jets. So this Eagles team is really going to have to hunker down and rely on that physical play, rely on their goaltenders and their defense to get them through a monster month.
This team could be the number 1 team overall by the time we get to 2021.
Yep.
This team could be outside the top 10 by the time we get to 2021, because our next Power Rankings episode will be that first week in 2021. That sounds crazy. Can't believe 2020 even ends. I'm still not sure if it will. I don't think that's official. But Brendan McFarland leading the way with 33 points. Nicholas Sampson, 27. Case can't just with 22. The top level scoring here from this side, a defenseman with 22 points. This team can get it done against anybody in the country, and we're going to get a chance to see it in the month of December. Number 7, man, pretty similar to what happened in the Elite. It's the Rockets Hockey Club again. I'll tell you what, nothing to shake a stick at, getting top 10 positioning in both the Premier and Elite. They'd be top 10 as well in the NCDC. They'd be top 2 in the NCDC right now, in my point of view. But the Rockets Hockey Club sit at number 7. We got a chance to see them out in Pennsylvania play, and they are so talented, so good.
Yes, they are. I mean, they have got offense for days. A quick look at the stat sheet. The 3 top scorers, Tyler Inlow, Dylan Castrello, and the top scorer, Harris Blackwood. These 3 skaters combining for 102 points in the season so far. That's insane. That's an insane amount. Dylan Castrello, 9 goals, 25 assists. This is his first season. So you talk about the talent, the youth, the speed, the skill. They've got it all. It's on display. They're only lost to this tough Elmira team. This Rockets Hockey Club squad, I mean, just the variety of teams they've played with wins in all of them really says something about how well the game transitions between styles of opponent.
And Lucas, what in tarnation are you doing calling Harris Blackwood anything but the sheriff? Because that is what Harris Blackwood has been. He has been laying down the law. He has been the law. He has been the sheriff in Jersey, man. Harris Blackwood, 19 and 19. How about that for balance and scoring? Over 2 points per game. Get out of his way. Get off the ice when this guy's coming on. He is a Mack truck. He is large. He is in charge. He tones that thing up as time goes on this year. He keeps working with that Rockets Hockey Club strength and conditioning coaching on the ice, that power skating. This is a guy with a huge future. Get your eyes, both of them, on Harris Blackwood right now in this Jersey area. This kid is the real darn deal. Harris Blackwood will win. Number 6. I'm going to cut you off, Lucas. We got to keep moving, all right? I'm excited about the next team. I saw you getting ready to talk. To Wisconsin Rapids River Kings. And Marty Quarters' side gets the number 6 spot, slotting in here, keeping themselves within the top 10 in the Midwest West.
Dan, you know I will talk forever about the Rockets Hockey Club, and I will also talk forever about the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings, because this is the standard bearer. That's what this is. This is the team that week after week, game after game, they put talent on the ice. They put the names you know out there. They're backed up with fresh new faces every year, great goaltending, a great coaching staff, great mantra. The River Kings have had a good month. They're going to get run through. We keep talking about December as being a bit of a grinder month, and it really is for a lot of these teams, a lot of the mixing and matching schedules, playing some tough opponents, but still being led by that familiar name, Cole Krieger at the top, with a bunch of great skaters behind him. You know, this is a team that you got to keep your eye on, especially if you're coming from outside the division. If you haven't seen what the River Kings can do in person, then you might not be quite ready for their unique brand of skill and physicality.
And I will keep shouting this from the mountaintops. I think this talent-wise, flat-out depth, I just feel like this is the best team. I just feel like the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings have a run in them where they can really take over. And they're dealing with the same problems that you're dealing with in the Southeast. You're playing within this Midwest West over and over and over again. And the wear and tear, the continual top talent that you are grinding up against each and every day in this division. Fun to watch. Cole Krieger, like you said, Grant Newcomer, man. This guy is there's no newcomer here. This guy knows he's no newcomer to the game of hockey.
Yeah, I mean, these are, like I said, these are new names mixed alongside the names that you know if you've been following the Wisconsin team. They've got good goaltenders. They've got a 1.99 goals against average as a team. Alexander Smedley, Riley Allen, Kyle McNair. They're making great saves. They're standing on their head. Talk about having 2 good goaltenders. What about 3 good goaltenders to carry you through?
Yeah, and Lucas, this Wisconsin Rapids River Kings squad is just so talented. It is, like you said, the month of December for a lot of these sides is going to be difficult. Another side it'll be difficult for our number 5 squad, the Hampton Roads Whalers, moving on up the list. This is a team that hasn't been at the top 10 multiple times this season already. They make that move to the 5 spot. I had them even higher. I love this Hampton Roads Whalers side, Lucas. I just think there's a lot in this team. I think talent-wise, it's another group. I'd say 5 and 6. Both of these teams are teams that the talent plays out even better than the record on paper. And I think there's a huge, huge bunch of success ahead of both of these sides.
Yeah, and I'd really even extend that. You know, the 5, 6, and 7 in the Premier right now, it's not that it's mix and match, but I think if these teams did have to mix and match a little bit, the results might be interesting, where it's kind of an any given Sunday type of situation. But this Hampton Roads team advances to number 5 on the strength of their depth. And we always talk about depth as if it's a magical word that fixes all your problems. But when you have guys with high hockey IQs like Nolan Cavanaugh, Francis Young Menard, and these guys who have the skill and they're your supporting roles on the assist game, allowing guys like Kyle Watson and Nick Ventura and Noah Henry to really put a bunch of goals up there. This is a team that there's no one guy you can take out. There's no one you can lock down, because it's like the Hydra. You cut one head off and 3 more take its place.
Cheerio. Has the guy from across the pond been good? The only negative thing on his stat card is his Liverpool fandom, something that unfortunately can't be changed. But Kyle Watson, 30 points on the year. We were talking to the Elite about early Player of the Year candidates. This is my Player of the Year candidate right here. I think Kyle Watson is a guy he's kind of taken the helm from the Brandon Osmondson and John Malkovich show that used to skate through the beautiful rinks there down in Hampton Roads. And now Kyle Watson takes that on. You look at Pietro Baccarin, man, this guy has been absolute magic since he joined up. And Nick Ventura, man, he's the assist detective. He's like Ace Ventura over here. This guy's getting aces all over the place. Assist city for this guy. Jack Schwartz has been good. Nolan Cavanaugh is such a calming presence on the defensive end at the left defenseman position. Alonzo Colburn is large and in charge. DJ Randall, you can't handle this, DJ Randall. Yo, DJ, that's my DJ. All kinds of fun goal calls there with DJ Randall. And you look at this Hampton Roads team, number 5, they could go higher. Just mark my words. Watch out for Hampton Roads. Another team you had to watch out for in the month of November that moves all the way to number 4, Lucas. All the way to number 4. They said to watch out for him via the Instagram DMs of the Dan K Show. The Northern Cyclones at number 4 in the Premier. Wow.
The Northern Cyclones have the most brutal defense I think I've ever seen in the USPHL. Their defensive effort right now is just staggering. It's absolutely staggering what they've been able to do. You talk about a team that through 10 games has allowed 13 goals. That's so impressive. That right there is deserving of the number 4 spot. They've beaten tough teams. They're coming out here and they're winning games, 6 straight wins, 32 goals for 13 goals against. I love this Northern Cyclones hockey team. They're so much fun to watch.
Dude, they're just unbeatable right now. They're looking so good. A tough New Hampshire Monarchs side, they beat them a bunch of times. Tough IHC side, beat them a bunch of times. They beat the Boston Junior Bruins, not a bunch of times IHC, one time. They beat the Boston Junior Bruins. Hyperbole is Dan K's thing. You know what I mean? I'm hyperbolizing right there. But it just tells you how excited I am about the Cyclones team. And Lucas, we do our own power rankings separately. And we write them separately. We hide them from each other. And then we unveil them and we see how close we are. And we make changes and we make our arguments from there. I said to fight me on this team being at number 5. You had him at number 4. You looked at me and said, I'll put him even higher. And you look at this side, Danny Woods, Jackson Tillinghast, Ben Peterson, Travis Martian. You look at Andrew Newsma there, Oscar Richardson, Jesse Johnson, Jacob Howell, the right winger. Jacob Howell's a guy. That's a blue-collar player right there. He plays it on both ends of the ice. He'll get tied up along the boards. He'll score the puck. Tyler Westfall sitting there making things happen. Hunter Meyer at the left defense. So much talent in Northern right now.
Yeah, and I think they're going to continue to put that on display. And right now the mantra is you can't lose if you don't let any goals in. And I think that's what Northern's got. It's Lucas Jones hockey to a T, and I can't wait to see what December looks like. 2
netminders, Kyle Meyer, Trevor Wong. Meyer 2-1-0-0, a 1.25 goals against, a 95% saves percentage. Trevor Wong 5-1-0. He's got a 9-4-0, 1.33 against. You just can't score. If you can't score, you can't win games. And it's amazing to watch the Cyclone squad because a lot of these guys have moved up from the elite side who used to be a 9-8 game winner every time out. They would score goals in bunches. Now it's become defense first, offense second. They're building that Flanagan mantra. The work being done by Bill Wyan, Alex Thomas, the Flanagans, everybody out there to put these teams together at each level. The Cyclones and the Rockets Hockey Club, man, they're doing it all three levels. Congrats to both. Now we go say congrats to another team, Lucas, who's moved up into the 3 spot in our top 10 power rankings. A team that finally, for the first time, is the highest ranked Midwest West side in our power rankings for their first time ever. They are above the rest, the Minnesota Blue Ox. It's been Blue Ox City outside of a big upset from the Mullets just a few days ago.
Yeah, it's been an interesting month for the Blue Ox. It's been an interesting year for the Blue Ox. They've done so well, and now they're getting up there into the power rankings as well. They've got 2 you call them almost statement wins there against the Minnesota Moose. They're playing great offense. They're locking it down on the defensive side of things. We did hear from Coach that the show's name is treated with a little bit of disrespect in that locker room. We tend to be up on the bulletin board quite a bit, apparently, for this Blue Ox team. So happy to finally give this team the recognition that they've deserved for a long time. And now, gentlemen, don't mess it up.
Seriously, we started thinking about this. Lucas and I brought this up after they swept the Minnesota Moose, and we didn't even officially put them ahead of the Moose and the River Kings and the Hudson Havoc and all these guys out in the Midwest West yet. And immediately, the Minnesota Mullets come out and put what a wonderful performance, by the way, in that game by that Mullet side. Coaching behind the bench, the squad showed up. You got to be so pumped if you're the Mullets right now with how good that team looks. The Mullets are another up-and-coming team that could be in the top 10 come next month. They've got a lot of chances to showcase what they have to offer in this month of December and to really make a statement. A ton of stuff to come from this Midwest West division. This is anybody's ball game. But right now, the Blue Ox sit atop that division. Number two, I'm cutting you off again. My phone's got 1% battery, and these power rankings are not going to make it to the end because my phone is on fire. It's heating up with this power rankings. It's awesome. I'm excited. Number 2, the Carolina Junior Hurricanes move back from the top spot to the number 2 position, making us wonder who could be number 1. We'll have to wait to find out. Let's talk Carolina first.
Yeah, Carolina Junior Canes still having a great record overall, still doing phenomenally in that division. 5-2 in the month of November, but when you're at the top, the smallest little pebble can cause a little bit of a landslide. Fortunately, the landslide only brought them down to number 2, but as any team who's been number 1 will tell you, it's tough to stay up there. But this is a team that's built for the long run, much like their elite counterparts. They've got a lot of depth. They've got the conditioning. They've got the toughness. This is a team that's built for the long haul. So small fluctuations for them don't really factor into the long game for this team. This Carolina Junior Canes team, it's not so much a falling down, but as much as it is another team passing them.
Rocking some Fleetwood Mac lyrics right there with the landslide, bringing them down. I mean, I like it, man. I like it. Jack Perna, though, and Jared Cable, the netminders for this side, they're lifting them up. And Jack Perna, 6-1-0 on the year, a .957 saves percentage, a .129 goals against average. This might be the goaltender of the year in the USPHL Premier. This might be the guy. Him and Castelletti with the Blue Ox, you're 2 and 3 here. These two have as good an argument as anybody in the country for that top spot atop the mountain of USPHL goaltenders and netminders. And if you're a coach right now and you don't have Jack Perna on your watch list, you're missing out. These are like next level between the pipes with Jared Cable too. The best Cable since Deadpool 2.
Well, what did we say when Jared Cable showed up, right? We kind of saw the news, we looked at each other and we went, oh boy, this is going to be an interesting time for anyone to try to play this team. With those 2 goaltenders, we always talk about it, right? It's if you have confidence in your goaltenders, you can push the puck, you can push your forwards, you can even push your defenseman out a little bit when you're that confident in the guy between the pipes. It helps the offensive side of the game.
Number one, we can talk about this Carolina Junior Canes team all day long. Daniel Now, Jacob Schnapp, Dylan Blue, Luke Babylon, Jacob Beedman, Ethan Hobbs, so much talent. And we go to number 1. It's a team that's been here before. Mm-hmm. It's a team that last month we dropped down to their lowest point since joining up in the USPHL Premier in the power rankings. They jumped back. They made a statement. They beat the Toledo Cherokee. They've only got one loss all season long. It was to that Cherokee side in overtime. Lucas doesn't count it. The Metro Jets at number 1 yet again.
Well, we put the Metro Jets number 8 last month, and we, kind of said that we didn't expect them to stay there for long, that this team was going to go out there, they were going to bang the drum, and they were going to find a way back. Well, it turns out in Michigan, everything is a drum for the Metro Jets, and they went out there and they beat them all, and they find themselves at number 1. You talk about differentials, and you really don't get the magnitude of a goal differential until the differential is higher than some other teams scored all season long. 87 goals for, 27 goals against in 16 games. You're talking an average of less than 2 goals a game. On the flip side of things, the offense is just running wild. It's absolutely nuts, because even if you do manage to put 2 goals up against this Metro Jets team, the odds are they've already got 4 in the bank on you, and you're just always working uphill. When you're playing Metro, they always make it feel like an uphill climb every single game from the moment the puck hits the ice. It's due to the development, it's due to the coaching. Straight up, it's due to the talent, the flat-out talent that this Jets team has from front to back.
Yeah, and you look in net, Louis-Pierre Fortier and William Augustine, man, these guys sound like generals who could be facing off between like Great Britain back in the day and France. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like Napoleon Bonaparte would be getting involved in this battle. But they work together on this side. They are winning hockey games. Matt Cole, Cody Mastay, Jason Crossland, Alec Lindecker, Ryan Messing. I can't wait to see this team in person yet again. Matt Cruz is the cruise missile. Connor Graham, man, this guy's no Teddy Graham. This guy's not friendly in terms of how he plays it on the ice. He scores goals in bunches. He makes things happen. The Metro Jets land at number 1, making the Metro Jets organization owning both sides of the poll here in the top 10. They got the 1 and the 10 spot taken up. Your top 10 at number 1, the Metro Jets. Number 2, the Carolina Junior Hurricanes. Number 3, the Minnesota Blue Ox, for the first time since the start of the power rankings here with the Dan K Show, the top team in the Midwest West. Number 4, the Northern Cyclones. Number 5, the Hampton Roads Whalers are back, baby. Number 6, the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings. Number 7, the Rockets Hockey Club. Number 8, the Northern Colorado Eagles Cacaw. Number 9, the Toledo Cherokee in a light month move back a bit. And at number 10, it's a tie between the Utah Outliers and the NJDP. Dan K made that early prediction. Both sides will win their divisions. With that, we take a deep breath. We tell you to take a deep breath as well. And reach out to us at _Dan Show to let us know your thoughts on the power rankings. Lucas, this has been a long show. There's no empty net. This is the empty net. I couldn't get him to say something. Were those your parting words? You sly dog, you. You sly dog. Dan K, when he's on the mic, it's hockey night. Don't forget that.
Well, it looks like Dan's camera melted. That's what I suspect happened. He talked for most of that show about how hot his phone was getting. I suspect it finally happened. The phone finally melted. Just melted into its constituent parts all over the coffee table. I don't know. I'm sure Dan could probably get himself a new phone, but knowing Dan, he's going to get himself like an iPhone 4 or something and just have that one melt as well.